Hello and welcome to another episode of Will It Work. I'm Kevin, and today we're looking at the OnLive Game System. So OnLive was really a service. It sort of predated a lot of other streaming services in that they installed a bunch of games on their servers somewhere, probably hosted at like Amazon or Microsoft or something, but I don't know for sure, Google. And they would let you, pay a fee and, purchase a game, or I think rent a game. You could do either. And play the game streaming to your PC. And I tried it, and it worked okay. What I mean is it's like a lot of people are like, the frames per second and all this kind of stuff. It wasn't really that bad. It worked really well. The only thing is like, yes, if you're playing like a fast twitch game, something like a first-person shooter, arena combat kind of thing, you're probably going to have a little bit too much latency to really be competitive, I suppose, at least at that time. The latency, though, really wasn't too bad, but I think they were doing a lot of tricks and things to make it sort of predictable. But ultimately, a lot of video games, a lot, are not all that fast twitch. I mean, there are strategy games and city building games, and there's, just all kinds of stuff. And I played a lot of War in the North and things like that on OnLive, and it worked fine. Unfortunately, like a lot of these things, they ran out of money, they went out of business, they sold themselves off or whatever. And the games that you would purchase on there, they had terms of service, and, you would pay for the game, and you would only be able to own the game for something like 2 years anyway. But they were like, based on the terms of service, but they were, they went under and you lose your game. That's just kind of how it is with these online systems. And that's what happened with OnLive if you purchase games. So everybody kind of knew that was a risk, and so most people didn't bother with OnLive, because another thing too is that like the prices that they wanted for games were close to just buying the game outright and playing it on your PC. So it would only be really appealing to somebody that wanted to play PC games, didn't have a high-end PC, and was willing to pay for a game and play it on a streaming service, but pay full price for the game. And I think that's just a rather niche market. They certainly had people that did it, but it just wasn't that appealing enough for them to make money on it. And eventually, we started to have competing services offer the same thing, and they were just the little guy in the room, and they couldn't really deal with it. So this is a game system, though, and not a service. This is the unit itself. It's probably just an ARM-based Android or something. All this black shows all this dirt from the dust that's been sitting in a bin forever. LAN jack, I believe it also will do Wi-Fi, but, they wanted you to use your LAN for streaming purposes and stuff. It's interesting that it had an optical out for audio, HDMI. Looks like it has some sort of it says AV. I'm not quite sure what that is. That's not a micro USB, so I'm guessing it may be some kind of either an AV expansion, like for a TV, like a mini, like a display port or something. Although it doesn't have the normal display port logo. On that side, you have two USB ports, keyboard, mouse, etc. And it would do. It came with a wireless controller and has a reset button. This worked fine. It connected to the service. It didn't reset, get too hot, none of that weirdness, and it worked. It worked as expected. Does it work today? No, the service is no longer around. There may be somebody out there that's hacked into this, like everything else. I haven't gone online and looked and seen if there is a underground thing where you can put in a USB thing and flash it and get get it to play some emulators, because that's what all you do is all these things is play emulators. So almost lost the camera there. But that's cool. I appreciate that people go out and do that. That seems like a cool thing to do, is get your old games, get some more life out of it, etc. But yeah, I'm not going to bother with that. I've got enough emulators in my life. But it's a novelty. It's a thing that was around back in the day, and it just, I don't know. They try to do things to keep themselves going. Like they would let you rent like Windows, so you could like go online and use like a Windows online. You know what I mean? Like you would have like a virtual desktop and that kind of thing, and do some processing on there, etc. Which is all things that just predated like what was being offered eventually by like Google and Amazon and Microsoft, etc. They were just trying to jump the gun a little bit there and get in early. And these sorts of things take time and they take marketing, and it just didn't go that well for them. So this is OnLive. It's the game system. I wish I had something to really show you with it, but it's just a streaming service, so you can imagine what it's like. All right, thanks for watching, and let's move on to the next one.